Bashan village. He pleads for the mother to wake up as he holds onto her. Another person accuses, asking if the person wants to die for beating their son in Bashan village. A child in blue clothing demands to be let go, while being held by adults. The tall character demands an apology to his son and threatens to break the other's leg if they refuse. He urges another to quickly kneel to their grandfather. She refuses with a firm no. A young boy calls out twice for his mother. A nearby person frantically urges the boy to wake up, asking if he is all right. A girl questions why someone called her mother. A woman questions if having a crazy mother isn't reason enough to die. She tells a man that this crazy woman couldn't give birth to decent people, pointing out his son as an example. She demands that he quickly bow down and apologize to her son. He reflects on having the body of a crazy person. One character tries to flee as another shouts, demanding freedom. A character warns not to talk too much. A woman expresses her frustration, commenting that a boy is uneducated, preferring a harder approach over an easy solution. A woman declares her son dares to beat her. She vows to beat him to death today. He mentions that he has come here already. She declares that she will live instead of someone else. She questions if it's good to bully her son and asserts that if they like, they can keep bullying her. He calls out to his mother. She asks him if he is okay. She assures him, saying she's okay. He urges his mother to stand behind him quickly, offering his protection against Su Shi's impending revenge. She tells him that if he wants to be brave and protect her, she will wait for him to grow up. She instructs him to stand behind her. The girl on the ground asks what the other character wants to do. She asks, "Want to do?" He replies, "Of course," followed by the sound of brandishing. He declares, "Beat you." She questions how someone can intimidate her son with such courage. He challenges, "Do you dare?" The girl responds with surprise, exclaiming, "Ah!" She advises to get their people out of her house immediately. If not, she warns not to blame her if they get hurt. Xiao Bao is asked if he has any injuries. He questions if she is truly his mother. He acknowledges the statement with agreement. She expresses that having a lovely son is a wonderful feeling. One asks the other why they are being bullied. He recounts an experience. Someone stole his fish, pushed him into the lake, and insulted his mother. He also mentions a claim that his mother was abandoned by a man. He questions if his mother should be defensive first because the person in question is the grandson of the village head. He learned to be patient but cannot tolerate his mother being oppressed. Li Zhan's companion assures another person that Li Zhan was not wrong, but they were also not right. The companion promises that their mother is fine and that they won't allow anyone to bully the other person later. She leads the young girl and says she will take her to change clothes. He asks someone to hold on. She then calls for her mother and the village chief. He addresses his grandfather, complaining about a woman who hit them and his mother. He insists on a punishment for the wrongdoers. A man discusses the issue of children arguing with each other. He advises against beating his son and suggests reminding him gently. The woman responds with the word, "Remind." She asks the village chief if he is not only deaf but also blind. He accuses that at first, the other's grandson stole his son's stuff. A character in a dark robe accuses. Then his daughter-in-law abuses oppressive power against us. She reflects on the insignificance of their lives compared to the Zhang family, questioning how such a reminder could come from her. He questions how she could say such a thing, wondering if she's not crazy anymore. He acknowledges he must find a solution. He questions what the other is and whether they dare to speak to his grandfather in that manner. He asserts they deserve to talk like that. He mentions that it is true what a shit boy he is without education. A woman addresses him, agreeing with the statement about being humble, noting embarrassment over a fish messing up everything. He comments that the fish is difficult to catch and expresses a desire to catch it for his mother. She acknowledges, expressing her belief that he is a good child. She explains she couldn't teach him before because she was sick. She now intends to teach him the moral of being human. A woman observes a group and remarks that an entire family has arrived to bully them. She declares her intent to teach them a lesson. Xiao Bao hears her clearly. She warns that if he's touched, there will be consequences. She instructs with determination, urging to use power to show they are not easy to bully. Two individuals criticize a woman. They express disbelief at her actions, claiming she disrespects the village chief. One explains that her behavior would embarrass the Zhang family. He questions, calling someone a bastard and daring them for beating his mother. He instructs others to hold a mad lady back. A character grabs him by the collar. The character comments that the kid still has milk on his mouth yet dares to raise his voice. He mentions he has never dealt with children before, noting the Zhang family's lack of teaching skills. She offers to help teach the naughty boy. He yells, "Hey!" She threatens, "If you take one step, I will strangle him." The elder advises Ling Ji not to cause trouble anymore. He questions if he dares. He asks how it is. She questions if he dares to push other people into the water later. She pleads desperately, calling out for her grandfather and mother to save her. She insists that if one does wrong, they must acknowledge the error. Today, she intends to teach this moral standard. A woman shouts, accusing Ling Ji of being crazy, and demands the release of her son. Bubbles are heard in response. She warns him that the entire place is the territory of the Zhang family. She questions if he believes she will kill his son. She challenges someone to speak up if they have the courage. A person vows to protect their son, threatening to confront Zhang Jia if he's harmed. She asks him to try it if he doesn't believe. Ling Ji expresses willingness to overlook past mistakes, noting the others' continued presence in the village. She questions if they really want to stay in the Bashan village. Tomorrow they plan to leave. He questions if she plans to leave. He insists that if she were to leave, he couldn't let her go. The older man demands silence and questions who allowed a loss of face. The woman addresses him as father-in-law. One character criticizes another's children for their behavior and lack of manners. Another character expresses relief that Xiao Bao is unharmed, questioning how they would apologize if things had gone wrong. The second character scolds the first for causing embarrassment. Ji Zun is told he must be punished for doing wrong, even though he was taught correctly. The elder asks if he understands his fault. He acknowledges his mistakes, stating he shouldn't bully Xiao Bao, and pleads for help. The girl reminds the boy of his promise, cautioning that if he repeats his actions, a simple solution won't be available next time. A man addresses a woman, saying, "Ye lady, wait." The girl asks the village chief what else he wants to say. A character reassures another, stating that despite their son's suffering, the influence of Zhang Jia will ensure no further trouble in Bashan village. He offers money, asking for it to be accepted as an excuse, suggesting this will end matters between them, seeking agreement. She reminds him of his words from today and warns that if it happens again, she won't forgive any of Zhang Jia's people. He mentions the money being held. She tosses the money to him. He responds with, "Okay. Okay." An elder questions why some people are standing around and urges them to hurry home. A group is encouraged to move along and stop watching. Later, Ye's family had to live there. They thought the village chief couldn't joke with him. He comments that if the woman is no longer crazy, then she should be allowed to live peacefully. The boy tells her she is so good. Io questions why the chief was at fault. In memory, someone reflects on Lu, who always cared for them. Lu Zhou assures not to worry. Someone states that in this situation, the village chief will not forgive the two of them. The second person will face difficulties living. Lu Zhou advises not to discuss Xiao Bao's wet clothes further. She instructs someone to quickly bring Xiao Bao to a hot bath and change into dry clothes. Xiao Bao expresses gratitude to Lu Zhou. A girl expresses affection, calling out, "Yes, yes, mother," as she is embraced warmly. Reviving in a woman's body with the same name, Ling Ji, the second lady of the Deep family. Her parents died early. She relies on others to live. 6 years ago, a girl experienced humiliation and became pregnant. Her family, hoping to conceal the news, sent her along with her nanny, Li Zhan, to reside in a small village hidden behind a mountain. She reflects that she may still have the title of rich lady, but worries that everything will be ruined otherwise. He mentions being hurt. She reassures him, saying she will be gentle. Additionally, a label indicates she has no experience in childcare. A character thinks about the family birthmark. They mention the need to collect 36 kinds of rare medicinal herbs as oral medicine. They also note that when using the medicine, acupuncture meridians must be combined to create this birthmark. A birthmark with the same pattern will appear in the same position to prove bloodline after success, as an heir. She asks Xiao Bao if he knows the birthmark behind his back. Xiao Bao replies that he knows. He explains that the birthmark has been there since he was born. The nanny told him he was a blessed child because of it. The author mentions that the birthmark indicates wealth and a connection to trading, suggesting that someone possessing it is not ordinary. Another character reflects on a birthmark, confirming its significance as the heiress's symbol. She wonders if the birthmark could be from Xiao Bao's father. Noting there are no birthmarks on the woman's body, she complains about the unfairness of witnessing something. A young boy asks his mother if she feels unwell because her face is red. She tells the girl that it's nothing and just because the water is so hot. She advises Xiao Bao to remember carefully not to let anyone see the birthmark. She warns that bad guys will take action if they see it. Xiao Bao understands. Xiao Bao is very good. He expresses doubt about the character being a good person, regardless of their status. He also warns against revealing their identity, threatening violence. A woman alerts another, saying something is wrong. She reveals that something happened in the village. The child asks his mother where his father has gone. On a night, she explains that his father has turned into fireworks and flew into the sky. He questions if his father has already been burned. Nodding. Two characters warn Lu to be careful, mentioning the approaching turn of the Lu family. She asks what's wrong with Luzo. He explains that the village chief had called someone to his house. During the last trip up the mountain, a few people went but haven't returned, including Lu Yong. They discuss climbing a mountain or hunting. Another person replies they're heading to a cliff for a valuable herb. She wonders if it's called shui or shuang and questions if it could be. The author mentions Yi Shuang Chao. It strengthens bones and can improve Xiao Bao's weak physical condition, which is crucial for practicing martial arts. Collecting Yi Shuang Chao would allow him to practice more easily. There was a self-conscious spirit of being a mother. He states that it's impossible to go to that place. A girl mentions that nobody expected what happened to Lu Yong, and the village chief said he would compensate. Another girl insists she doesn't need them to pay. She needs Lu Yong to return. One character sits on the ground, expressing concern about the coldness of a place. Another character comments about Lu Yong falling from a high cliff. He tells Lu Zhou to stop crying and offers to go find him instead. She mentions needing to find Yi Shuang Chao and plans to go to the mountain for it. Another character offers help to find Lu Yong. A girl asks him if he will go to the mountains to volunteer to find Lu Yong for her, expressing disbelief. He says he will try to find him but can't guarantee it. She says she'll try, but finding him isn't guaranteed. Lu Zhou is told not to do that and to stand up first. The girl asks her mother if she will really go to the mountain instead of Lu Zhou to find him. A woman advises a young lady, expressing concern about the dangers of going to the mountains and cautioning against agreeing without thought. She mentions she doesn't agree arbitrarily. She insists she is agreeing very seriously. She wonders why the village chief has come. She asks if the two of them came there for something. He questions Ling Ji about speaking impolitely and reminds him they are guests. She asks if she invites, will the two of them be her guests? She wonders if inviting them is the right choice. A person expresses concern, saying Xiao Bao is being threatened and might get hurt. They brought a little tonic and good food for fostering Xiao Bao. He is patted on the head. He softly says he doesn't care about the kindness. She finds it annoying and requests items to replace Xiao Bao, asking if there is anything else available. He mentions hearing that Miss Yi went to the mountain to search for Lu Yong. He asks if, having made that decision, assistance in finding more people could be provided. She reflects on a trip up the mountain with Lu Yong. She considers the possibility that the missing 5 people are together, regardless of their fate. She also ponders a rapid arrival and suspects a connection. He asks what he will get if he agrees. She addresses him as Mississippi. She was trapped. He states that it is none of his business, but as the village chief, he agrees to take responsibility. He offers 120 taels as wages if they can be found. He adds a condition. If she goes to the mountain to find them, he can pay her. He declares that Yi Shuang Chao must belong to Zhang Jia. She reflects on how, due to Yi Shuang Chao, she thought he truly wanted to save people. The girl questions, Yi Shuang Chao was found by my mother. Why do we have to give it to you? One character states that they discovered it first. The other one simply says, this? She says if they are good like that and look for it themselves, she won't intrude. However, if she can find it, she absolutely won't hand it over. She questions if even Xiao Bao understands the morality, wondering if the village head does not. An older character and another character are present. The older character is addressed with you. The other character tells the older one to shut up. A man acknowledges the lady's correctness, admitting previous wrongs. He states that if she learns something about him, she will provide 120 taels. She announces, successful transaction. She mentions to the young woman that the work with Lu Zhou hasn't been solved yet, then refers to the village chief. He mentions that due to the previous illness, there were things unsaid. The village chief often sent letters secretly to Cheongdo. She responds that the previous bullying was likely due to someone being bribed, and this time they received help leading. She asks about Cheongdo. The memory of this body recalls the second room in Ye's family felt like a rope tying her up. That year she had been harmed in a way certainly related to them. This time, it seemed the village chief had someone behind him in control. She is determined to uncover who intended to harm her. She vows to retaliate with double the force. She mentions going to the mountain and having her own plan. She tells him to let Xiao Bao go to bed early and mentions going to the city for a while. He responds with affirmation. He asks his father if he is really afraid of her. He demands, shut up. What do you say? He mentions that she wants to go, so she can. They lose some money, but they can pass the responsibility of finding people for her, causing them no loss. He wonders about Yi Shuang Chao and questions if she really picked it. He instructs to kill her if she can pick it up. He wonders if her belongings will become theirs once she dies. The author suggests the village chief dares to exchange his life for another. Li Jun and Xiao Bao remain under his control. He resolves not to tolerate this any longer. Li Jun and Xiao Bao are instructed to sneak into the city to rent an inn for a while. The speaker mentions the village chief will have no one else and expresses interest in observing the conclusion of a play. She comments on the little tale. Another wonders why the little one is still clinging, despite being told to stay obediently in the inn. He expresses that he doesn't want to lose the other person. She reflects that Xiao Bao also cares about a crazy mother like her. A child asks her mother about their reason for visiting the pharmacy. The mother responds affirmatively, implying a purpose. He is pouring tea. He says it's to discuss business. He questions if Master Chen lacks faith in his ability. The other character hesitates with an I. He affirms his belief in the other person, acknowledging the invaluable nature of a specific creation. He notes the extreme value of the necessary medicinal materials involved. He wonders about Miss Ye's ability to ensure the success of creating Shi Chui Dan. She asks about the success rate. Her mother discusses a business opportunity, confident of its success. She emphasizes to him that seizing the opportunity is crucial in business. Hesitation means missing out on a rare chance. A girl mentions there are many other pharmacies in the city willing to work with her mother. The girl with long hair expresses delight, mentioning that a kid said something sounds good. The man standing nearby responds, telling Xiao Bao that it's enough. She assures the other person about the certainty of the percentage, suggesting they might feel scared or skeptical. To alleviate concerns, she presents a deed, emphasizing the need for caution as an entrepreneur. A person guarantees to give 3 Shi Chui Dan in exchange for preparing everything needed. She mentions if she cannot create Shi Chui Dan, she will pay twice what he is paid. He agrees cheerfully, acknowledging that if the lady said so, they should do as instructed. He says he will prepare the needed medicine today and asks Miss Yi when she will start work. She responds that it won't be today because she still lacks the herb to create Shi Cui Dan. He asks her what herb she is talking about. She responds, mentioning Yi Shuang Chao and Fu Shui Tai, assuring him not to worry as they will find the herbs on their own. She wants to know if people in the store are familiar with the road to the mountain. She is looking for a guide. He notices the people in his store and seems thoughtful. A person announces, Changshang Can. Nearby, another individual stands with a child. Changshang often went to the mountains to collect herbs. The one who knew the mountain the most was him. He comments that the boy is a bit weird and can't talk, and wonders about her feelings. He wonders about the black cloth over the head, questioning if it's to cover poison streaks on the forehead. She asks if he doesn't know how to talk and what disease it might be. Another character mentions someone said he was like that from birth. His hands too. It seems that this disease has spread and this poison often causes pain for him. Moreover, if it is strongly stimulated, his skin will be changed pathologically. The speaker notes that a strange poison unexpectedly appeared in a remote place, suggesting the boy's identity isn't simple. She expresses her decision, emphasizing that the ability to talk is unimportant, as long as he knows the way to the mountain. She chooses him. He questions if they have arrived at the ridge of Juing. He confirms it's exactly where they are looking. She remarks about the place's fame, noting even falcons won't fly over the cliff. The character in the red robe acknowledges that something is the same and true. Below is Duan Han Yu. Someone mentions a tomb built by the royal court of Yunlan Gua. It houses rare treasures from kings worldwide. Taking an item carelessly results in obtaining a comparably valuable object. He mentions that these things only deceive children. She questions why the ancestors of the Yunlan Gua dynasty weren't granted that ability, pondering the destruction by Tian Qiong over 2 decades ago. Information is shared about the Yi Shuang Chao, which grows on a cliff in the middle of Duan Han Yu. A warning follows about many monsters guarding the cliff, mentioning that those who try to go there are often hunted by the monsters. She asks Xiao Bao to wait for her. She declares that she is making money to raise him. She questions why there is no monster like Changshang mentioned. The older figure comments that all children tend to believe in myths. A girl states that Yi Shuang Chao will only bloom at sunrise, so we will have to spend the night here. She wonders aloud if there is a snake nearby. A character mentions that it will become their dinner. She asks if the water is boiling. He suggests putting it in the soup. He reflects on the people he has seen. Among them, only Ling Ji dared to open the abdomen without panic, not even blinking. A girl questions another about her skilled movements, asking if she has done these things before. The other girl asks why she would know she's never done them. The girl observes that his hands are smooth and lack calluses, unlike those who have worked hard. Observing people should not be limited to their appearance. The girl in blue reflects on how people might think she's naive for being with a guy and a widow in a secluded place. She questions if the other girl is not afraid of what she might do. The girl in pink responds, wondering why everyone thought, with the depth of this mountain range, if anything happens, nobody knows. Even if you disappear right at this mountain, no one will suspect and blame me. He says that hurts. He warns not to touch. Another voice cautions that touching might have unpredictable consequences. He calls her a wicked woman. She asks what he wants to do. She expresses surprise, realizing she can talk, questioning if she is no longer mute. Someone questions, "What are you doing?" She asks if the place has the same situation as the body. She explains that when the recurrence is very painful, being young allows him to tolerate the pain. She mentions the poison is not easy to solve and, if not cured well, there is. He thinks about her ability to diagnose his symptoms just by feeling his pulse and wonders if she is a master healer. He expresses regret, apologizing for scolding. She reassures him, saying it's okay with a sigh. She comments that she still does not know how to detoxify the poison. She mentions that she was just determined to acupuncture his vocal cords to try its healing effect. He thinks she has the highest medicine skill he's ever met, but questions her ability to detoxicate. He reflects that just because she doesn't think now doesn't mean it will be the same later, and he is determined not to give up. He explains that this is the mark he was born with. The infant reflects on a saying from his place about a curse of death. He mentions that when the poisonous streaks spread throughout his body, he will die. She pleads with Master Yi for help with detoxification, expressing her determination to try, even if there's only a little hope. She expresses her fear, declaring she does not want to die. The girl reminds him about the detoxification plan when they return to Lin Shuacheng. She tells him to take a rest until the sun rises, emphasizing the need to pick Yishuang Chao. He is determined to help her get Yishuang Chao, as it was promised to him. He tells the girl not to move. She instructs him to find a safe place and hide. The character says there are people under the rock. She says the rock can't stand it anymore. A character exclaims how fortunate they are as they narrowly avoid something. He realizes the rock can't withstand any more impact. He knows if it breaks, everyone will fall. He decides he can't let him slash it down. She says if he is crazy and if he wants to die, he will die alone and it has nothing to do with her. He wants to be reborn again, feeling his death is too sudden. He calls out, urging her to wake up. She wonders if she is not dead. A girl asks Lu brother about their location, expressing confusion. He informs her that they are at the bottom of the cliff and offers her water, encouraging her to drink. A girl mentions that it is he Lien dude who saved them. He reminds her that he is also a benefactor who saved her life. Without him, she would have been eaten by that big snake, and insists she should thank him. She spits out her drink in surprise, questioning who asked her to thank that. She inquires about his whereabouts. He points and explains, indicating the person beneath a tree, mentioning that Lien was hurt while protecting her. She decides, okay, let me go thank him. One character asks another what's wrong with them and if they will calm down. A character expresses frustration about being hurt for saving someone. Another character questions if someone is deliberately disturbing and comments about finishing something and returning, but not being well. He expresses concern about their limited food supply, noting it won't last for the coming days. The elder explains that due to the harsh weather, few people venture into the mountains, making it futile for anyone who has ended up there. She advises to talk carefully. He questions being called in vain, suggesting if she's so useful, why not fly up there? Someone questions, what kind of person is that? A character in a blue outfit expresses disappointment, questioning someone's gratitude for saving them. Another character with long hair questions, mentioning they thanked the monkey. He points out that a woman seems to be trying to attract Master's attention. He tells him to shut up. She observes the man, noting the smell of death yet finds no problem looking at him. She acknowledges that despite being harmed, falling from the cliff revealed his lack of good character. He asks for forgiveness for his followers' harsh words. He also expresses regret about a previous incident on the cliff. She wonders if he has apologized and notes she hasn't had time to take action yet. She questions if the opponent already knows his mistake. He reminds her to assess the situation before swinging. Fortunately, this time is different. A girl takes responsibility and offers full compensation, wondering if 120 yuan is sufficient. He hands her a document. She explains she was misunderstood and didn't mean anything about money. He inquires about the check. She holds a paper with excitement, saying that the money spent on their way has been settled. He responds with agreement. Okay. He says, Miss, wait for a minute. This is your knife. He agrees to take it. She mentions that he seems generous and that she has a very good view of him. He wants to think of a way to get out. She explains they searched everywhere and found no escape under the cliff. She mentions falling down a cliff and finding someone waiting. She suggests using powerful martial arts to shoot an arrow as a signal for rescue. A character accuses another of being cowardly and criticizes them for attempting to speak to their master. They mention their master is injured after saving the other, implying the master will not intervene again. The character with long hair tells Jean he to get away for a while. She mentions being a doctor and offers to take care of an injury. He mentions that he has already handled it and there is no serious issue. The girl reassures him, saying she won't care about anything or be curious about things she shouldn't know. He mentions that something bothers her. She responds, saying he is welcome. His heart suddenly tickled. He thought that if he was a little curious, the other wouldn't notice either. She orders him to quickly take off the trousers he's wearing. Two characters converse. The first character apologizes, admitting they were wrong. The second character, upset, questions if the first character is toying with him or taking advantage. The first character explains calmly, promising to charm only the person she intends. She tells him to stay away. She questions if he is still not satisfied. He points out that the wound on her hand is not bandaged. She insists it is unrelated to him. He offers the medicine, explaining, "This is Jin Chuang Yao. Applying it to the wound will not leave scars." He adds, "I also do not want to owe you." She tells him she doesn't owe him anything anymore and asks if she can leave. He calls out to Jin, urging him to apologize to her. Jin acknowledges his wrongdoing to Dr. Yi, admitting he should not have acted without understanding the situation. Jin asks for forgiveness, citing human fallibility and requesting a chance to atone. She mentions that the other wants to atone and expresses that money is the most appropriate form of apology. The other character responds, stating he doesn't have gold but asks if he can use something else to atone. She notices a pattern and mentions it is the same as on Xiao Bao's back. She asks about the box's origin and the meaning of its decorations. He explains they are searching for treasures in the Yunlangua underground palace and describes the beauty of the decorations he obtained after breaking the first secret room pattern. He asks if the pattern holds any special meanings. Another voice replies that it symbolizes the Yunlangua court. Yunlangua rests atop Mount Yulong, the peak of Lianla mountain range. The citadel reaches the clouds, named Yun Ting Tianan. A comment mentions that when the emperor of Yunlangua was stationed there, the falcon symbol landed on Qinzhengdian, where the emperor worked. The emperor saw it as a good omen and made it the falcon symbol of the court of Yunlangua. The long-haired he in the red outfit feels the pattern on the box is special and asks out of curiosity. The silver-haired he is asked if he has any reaction to the symbol. Xiao Bao's father is questioned about his lineage from Yunlangua's court. The character remembers a past incident with the bandits and ponders if the prince of a lost country could be their leader. He reflects negatively on Xiao Bao's. Someone alerts others about a person descending from the top of the cliff. A character with long hair looks upward and states with certainty, "Changsheng, definitely Changsheng." He tells the group they can go back. Another responds about getting everyone up first and following them. He looks at her hand, surprised. She asks what is happening and points out there is no need to rush. She notes how shallow his hand is. One character mentions that they swore to thank the person who saved them and asks if the other character has figured out what they want. Another character says they don't need thanks and insists the thanks should go to Lady Yi. The third character questions giving. He remarks about making any request. The other confirms and encourages her to state it. She plans to open a store on a main road in the future, preferably on Joukei Street. It should be spacious with at least 2 floors. The third assures, the accommodation at Cheongdo has been resolved. She invites him to come over, offering to help with acupuncture. She considers it a parting gift. Yi's sister suggests they can escape from danger thanks to her sister's strategies. The group complains about the Zhuangs, saying the family treats their lives like trash despite their efforts and the risks in Zhu Ying's area. Ms. Lu knows about the situation and thoughtlessly considered suicide. One character expresses gratitude to another for helping Lu Yong return, calling them a family benefactor. A woman expresses regret, apologizing for failing to protect the family. The girl offers assistance, questioning his hypocrisy. He raises his sword, declaring, "Nope." She stands close, facing him directly. A girl suggests removing trousers, remarking on the wealth indicated by ruining them. Another character mentions needing to conduct acupuncture to control a poisonous worm. A young girl insists she can manage on her own, declining help from an older man. Meanwhile, another girl reports to a master that she has fired the signal flare. He exclaims, "Oh my God, oh my gosh," while holding a bag. He tells the wicked woman to stop and demands her to leave his master alone. He shouts for Jin He to stop. He mentions that it hurts as he moves toward the girl and the man sitting beside her. She wonders what he is ashamed of. She insists she is at a disadvantage. He questions what he's ashamed of, expressing frustration over being at a disadvantage. Meanwhile, she, reflecting on her experiences, admits it's the first time she has lost face like this, despite living two lives. He mentions that Jin did not clarify the situation, leading to a misunderstanding. She advises him to watch out for his subordinates. He starts to speak, saying, "Ye lady, He interrupts, holding a knife, commanding, "You shut up for me. I just made it to the important step." A character with long hair is surprised, saying, "Ye lady, you are?" Another character with hands tied warns urgently, "Ye lady, no, please." A character states that the poisonous worm has died. He offers a cup, asking to handle it. He states that he doesn't want to take advantage, mentioning 100 gold as a disease fee. He questioned why the family was punished for protecting money. She referred to the family's tough nature and questioned the basis for their revenge after being saved. She mentions that it's also good to destroy it. If they don't, she cannot create a new one. It seems like God doesn't want her to stay there. He encourages his sister to be brave and assures her they'll seek the Zhang family for fairness. Another character agrees, urging not to fear, promising protection from the village chief's family's bullying. She tells him there's no need to go, pointing out they're already there. A girl tells Lu brother that the matter is private between her and the village chief. She assures him she can handle it herself. Lu brother acknowledges her. He apologizes to the lady, explaining that he punished his daughter-in-law at home on her behalf. He suggests negotiation, addressing her as "Ye lady." She questions, "Negotiate." Before leaving, he promised not to let the Zhang family harm the house. Later, she let her daughter-in-law come and burn it. She questions if this represents their will to negotiate. He insists it's not his doing, blaming Su Shi. He claims ignorance and vows to take care of his family, promising compensation for the house's damage. She asks if compensation is desired. He responds, wanting to know the amount she intends to compensate him for. He offers 120 taels and promises to find someone to fix their home. He insists that his house doesn't need repairs and asks to change it into cash, 120 in amount. She agrees, saying there is no problem. He emphasizes the total of 120 taels, adding the previous promise and their help in saving the villagers. The sum is 320 taels. She confirms the amount and asks if they can let it go. He tells her to survive until she can take his money. She responds with, "Good." She mentions that a new debt has been settled, but an old debt remains. The older man, wielding a sword, questions if Yi Shangyuan sent her to supervise him, suggesting he might earn a lot that year. He questions her about supervising something, expressing confusion and a lack of understanding. The character asks, "At this point, who are you acting for?" He questions her about sending a letter the day he left Bashan village. She asks if he followed her. An older man speaks sternly. He warns about Ye's house, saying they won't allow continued existence in this world. He cautions that satisfaction won't last, as they will eventually act. She questions how long she can live as long as he doesn't care. She tells him to take care of himself first. He responds with, The older man warns, explaining that the poison will dissolve after being swallowed, and if the antidote isn't taken in time, the person will die in 4 days. He states that he gave time for 3 days, excluding 320 taels, demanding that all the money his sister gave is returned. Without returning either, he threatens to kill all of the Zhangjia people. He accuses the woman of thinking too highly of herself. He warns her to stop having delusions, threatening to beat her to death since he claims to have been patient with her for a long time. She asserts that her grandfather died a long time ago. She warns that if someone wants to be her grandfather, she won't hesitate to send them away. In 3 days, she will take the money and the letters exchanged, and all must be given to her. She questions someone, asking why 3 days are given to prepare the money and why the poison takes an additional day to take effect. A character with long hair expresses their kind-hearted nature but insists on receiving money by the appointment date. Another character is told they can live one more day, just enough for someone named Zhang Jia to pick up the body. He expresses his desire to go home early to see Xiao Bao, feeling satisfied with his spoils. The older man instructs to send another letter to Chengdu, suggesting to let them kill Ling Ji. The younger man questions what they should do next. The girl mentions hearing about her mother's encounter with a big snake and asks if she got hurt. She suggests letting Xiao Bao help blow up the wound. The woman reassures her, stating that no matter how big a snake is, it can't beat her. He expresses surprise at the tiger cub, asking if she caught him. She confirms with enthusiasm. She explains that the cub was given to her by someone she treated, and if given, it's considered that she caught it. She expresses admiration for her mom's strength. Her mom informs her that if she wants to raise him, she must take responsibility for the tiger cub. The girl asks why her mom is still there so late. Master Chen thanks someone for helping with Xiao Bao. Xiao Bao is described as very obedient. He mentions it's a small matter and that Changshan claims the journey is convenient. She tells Master Chen not to worry and that if nothing unexpected happens, she could make medicine in 3 days. He expresses satisfaction, saying it's been 3 days later. It's good, very good, and just on time. She questions what is on time. A man mentions a great character arriving from Chengdu and a dinner party happening in 3 days. He plans to gift a pill to him. A girl responds with, him. A character with a mustache points up. He asks if they know He Lian Mingyi and refers to him as Mr. He Lian. He states He Lian Mingyi was ordained as Di-Shi by the emperor, emphasizing. She mentions He Lian Mingyi. He asks if she knows him. She replies that he can say the same. She recalls saving a person in the mountains with the same bizarre name. He thinks to himself about developing a relationship with the Golden Thigh, implying a secure future. She reflects on the situation, considering that if he works as Di-Shi, he will not run out of money. She thinks if she had known sooner, she would have demanded compensation for mental losses. She asks Master Chen if Chun Sheng signed a body sale. Master Chen explains that the child came from outside the mountain, had no place to live, and they needed him to help earn a living. He admits he avoided signing the sales contract. She, in a pink robe, expresses confidence to Master Chen about receiving good in return for assisting King Ling Ji. He, referred to as Dr. Yi, is encouraged to stop talking and hurry up, told that discussing buying and selling is already. A man speaks to a woman, questioning if Changshan wants to leave. The woman responds, wanting to confirm everything first and ensure no resistance if he decides to depart. She mentions that Master Chen expressed secret moods, questioning if it was really just to ask about Changshan. He wanted to ask about a method to cure physiological weakness. She responds with surprise. The second day at Chen Palace. He notes that the 52 check was changed to silvers and advises careful keeping. She responds with thanks. She expresses contentment about taking Xiao Bao for a walk. She mentions tailoring clothes for Xiao Bao and buying toys the kids liked. She mentions finally being able to take Xiao Bao for a walk. She had to tailor clothes for Xiao Bao and buy toys that the kids liked. Another character insists they didn't bump into her. She bumped into them first and even stepped on their candy. A person chastises a figure for bumping into their young master and not apologizing, expressing surprise at their defiance. Another comments on the desolate outback, noting even a cat and dog can be called a master. A woman asserts that the boy is her child and deserves the title of young master. She comments on some people living comfortably, criticizing them for not knowing what to look at. The boy exclaims, calling for his mother. She reassures him, telling him that she is present and asks him to explain what happened. She expresses a desire to see who dares to turn over among the crowded place. She questions, asking what turnover means, and asserts that she is speaking the truth. Xiao Bao informs her, after we went to buy candy, we wanted to find you. As a result, I just turned around. She bumped into me. He continues, she even snatched my candy to the ground, even stepped. One person expresses disbelief, saying, "Io, what a goddamned." Another comments that it's surprising for an adult to still be bullying children. She questions what he is saying, pointing out that all her shoes have become dirty and inquires about how he plans to compensate her. He defends himself, saying someone's hand is holding a disgusting sticky candy stick, implying it's that person's fault for causing. He questions if she insulted his family's recipe, claiming it's passed down by ancestors and everyone who tasted it found it delicious. He boasts about his family's candy, saying it smells better than her feet. She remarks that he might be a monster with a child insists they leave because others are speaking nonsense. The child expresses a desire to avoid confronting those perceived as foolish. An adult praises the child's obedience. A woman advises another to be more considerate and apologize. She notes that the servant seems arrogant and questions what the master would be like. The servant defends the master, calling others filthy rabble and insisting that her master is beyond reproach. Someone tells Wan Shui to shut up. She instructs to hurry up and compensate him if bumped into. He notes that after watching his servant cause trouble for half a day, the master is finally interfering. He tells her that the others are just low-class peasants who want to deny mistakes. She insists that she told him to pay them money. The girl in green mentions that the most expensive skewer is only 10 pieces of money and implies it's enough to buy 10 skewers. The girl in pink questions how much is left over for her almsgiving for beggarly guys. She thinks originally it wasn't a big deal. If the maid truly wanted to apologize, it would be done. He mentions that it is often said that like slaves, like the owner. She questions if he normally teaches maids this way too. She tells Wan Shui to pick up the money and apologize properly. Wan Shui replies with sorry. He insists she keeps the money for herself, considering the candy stick as he gives more. She acknowledges that the dog they raised deserves food that hasn't been stepped on. She comments on teaching an untrained dog and questions the owner's character. She tells Xiao Bao to go with her. A girl accuses another, asking about the consequences of her actions and losing face on the main road. The other character apologizes, promising not to repeat the mistake. He asks his sister what's wrong. He brings good news, announcing that Mr. He Lian has arrived today. He asks his mother for some money. She responds by asking what he wants to buy. The girl requests her mother to close her eyes. The mother agrees to close them. One character advises the other not to turn around because they have been watched by others. She questions if the three of them were arguing earlier and wonders if they still want to fight. He mentions feeling followed on the road. She thinks the letter from the village chief has likely reached Cheongdo. The other girl asks if he means her. He is uncertain but acknowledges their arrival. She suggests catching them to find out more. He mentions, but Xiao Bao. He questions his mother about peeping. She tells him to close his eyes. He admits his mistake and says okay. She tells him to open them. He asks if it's sweet. The child confirms, saying it is sweet. She observes, thinking, this is probably what this body owner likes to eat. Xiao Bao assures that he knows the other likes to eat. He promises to make money and buy the food. The other responds, looking forward to it. He offers to cook for her, asking what she would like to eat. She joyfully insists on ravioli soup, saying the whole family must reunite to eat it. He agrees, suggesting they go home to eat. She asks him, who let you go? He remains silent. She instructs to swallow poison for self-harm. Another character demands to let go of their young master quickly. A boy on the roof calls out for his mother. Below, a girl shouts, Xiao Bao. She demands that they let go of her son, promising to spare their lives. A man insists that the girl must die so someone else can live. She declares, I kill you. Xiao Bao is reassured not to be afraid. She tells him it's okay. She asks if he touches anything else except for strangling. He replies that it's good. He mentions they just entered the city and saw someone watching. She responds, saying her master helped out. Another character calls out, Jin He. She expresses gratitude and mentions having questions for the assassin. One character acknowledges good behavior, mentioning they have finished handling something and will return to play. Another character tells Auntie Lee to go back home first. She demands to know who sent him, forcefully gripping his clothes. He admits his failure and says his ability is lacking compared to hers. Whatever she wants is up to her. She decides to change her question. She asks him how much Yi Shangyuan is paying to have her killed. The girl assures him that his quick reaction is sufficient. She tells him not to worry, stating that Yi Shangyuan will reunite with him in hell soon. She accuses him of not deserving a full body in death because he resorts to tricks. He expresses gratitude for today's incident. She responds that it's a small matter, mentioning the two corpses shouldn't stay there, and she'll let Jean handle it later. He expresses a desire for assistance with something. She asks what he wants help with, mentioning she is also busy. She wants to bring the bodies of two people into the village chief's house. One body should be left in the garden, the other on the chief's bed. He finds the task interesting and assures others it can be assigned to him. He mentions that everything is already arranged. Tonight, when the village chief goes to sleep, he will discover a great treasure. She responds with thanks. The movements are quite fast. The way to process the body is so fast. This Mr. D sure is not as simple as it looks. He mentions they might meet again soon. She recalls they originally came to give him a land contract and saw the assassin watching over. He informs that someone has hired an assassin to prevent a return to Cheongdo. She tells him to wait for her to go back there and see how she punishes them. The child calls out for his mother while running. The woman with long hair questions why Xiao Bao ran out, reminding him that she told him to stay in the room and wait. The child tells the mother that he has something to say to the white-haired uncle. Xiao Bao recalled hearing a storyteller say that a life-saving act required repayment with their body. The character questions the mischief in Xiao Bao's words. Xiao Bao adds that because of their mother's instructions, repayment couldn't happen for now. He holds out an item and explains that it is something his mother usually buys for him. He mentions that Xiao Bao loves and cherishes it the most, and now he offers it to another person. He asks if there are candy skewers. He expresses gratitude to Xiao Bao. Someone exclaims, addressing him as Mr. Yi. She mentions that she has been waiting for him at the gate for a long time and asks what he is doing there. A woman addresses Mr. Yi, calling him spoiled. Someone coughs and excuses themselves, addressing her as Your Highness. A character demands to know why another character is there and asks about their master's whereabouts, yelling to get out. The other character warns that if someone wants to win over the master's heart, they have to pursue it persistently. He reminds the other of a debt owed. She mentions that they quarreled in the afternoon and things aren't going well. She notices something and exclaims about a hairpin. He questions why they are there and what they are going to do to him. The child comments that the person is strange and states they are talking with others outside their house, so it has nothing to do with them. The girl questions if someone is acting on purpose. The girl accuses the person with the candy skewer of bumping into her and blames them for the mishap. She insists that the person with the candy is not good. She asserts that the stick belongs to her. He argues, claiming ownership of the stick. He talks about an ant bumping into him on the street, dropping his candy, and the maid trampling it. The woman in purple says to the child, "Oh well, don't you also like my candy?" The man with long hair responds to her, "Really?" She insists it's a misunderstanding. The boy questions why Xiao Bao is blamed, even with his candy skewer trampled. The girl accuses him of causing the problem, yet still demands he acknowledge various details. He questions if they knew Dr. Yi was his lifesaver, referring to them as filthy rabble guys. She says her mother saved his life, so he should treat her mother well. A woman tells a boy not to think miscellaneous thoughts. The boy looks confused and makes a questioning sound. He apologizes to the benefactor, admitting he wasn't right before and expressing his regret. He expresses that he does not dare to accept and states the morning has ended. He adds that he is also too lazy to continue the conversation. She responds in shock, simply uttering, "You." Xiao Bao suggests heading home to eat. He asks his mother to wait. A child informs Mr. Yi that the master has prepared a party for him and urges him to return with them. The boy reminds the uncle of his promise to eat dumplings together, mentioning that his mother made them. The uncle responds, agreeing and joking about freeloading at dinner. He accuses them of lying and creating stories. She calls him an idiot, remarking on his fearlessness in making a big deal, and tells him to make her hate one more time. The man with long hair tells them he has an appointment and can't join them. He instructs the other two to quickly take the lady back so the young master doesn't worry. He refuses help, insisting he can go alone. She declares she cannot let another lady appear in front of Mr. Yi. He tells her to just be honest with the other person instead of using him as an excuse. She appreciates his help, commenting that his actions have helped her identify a dangerous enemy, the princess of the current reign. He asks if the other person recognizes her. She notes that the princess carries a phoenix brooch on her head. Another voice responds, asserting they aren't blind, and refers to her as Dear Master. He comments that the second lady of the Zhongguo residence is really smart and keen. She questions how the other person knows her identity. He mentions the sword's unique appearance. She responds with, What? That year, Li Lin Wan searched for skilled blacksmiths. It took a year to forge a sword for the second lady of the Yi family as a birthday present. She asked if it was a gift for her. She thinks about how, unfortunately, the sword remained, and she died with hatred. A character says it's just a young love story. One of them reminds Dr. Yi that he can't serve raw vegetables or meat if he doesn't consider them family. Another says that this way of eating is delicious, nutritious, and most suitable for the body. He asks his mother about the dish, questioning why they aren't eating dumplings. She explains it's a hot pot similar to dumplings, where the dumpling is placed in the hot pot for him. Another character comments, noting someone's uniqueness. A character with white hair expresses that they haven't witnessed the bustling scene for many years. They then ask if there is a drink available. He mentions that just eating and not drinking is boring. His drink looks like water, but he thinks that's a good thing. The boy asks if she wants to drink, expressing gratitude for her giving him gu yuan dan before. He asks about the medicinal alcohol made from Yishuang Chao. She confirms and encourages him, saying it's a good thing. Gu Yuan Dan exchanged medicinal alcohol Yishuang Chao. The woman appears arbitrary, but in her heart, she remembers those who are kind to her. He asks his mother if he will become beneficial like the white-haired uncle when he grows up. She replies that in a few days, she will teach him martial arts, expressing confidence that he will become a very beneficial person in the future. Someone questions how another person can be a talented individual if their mother's martial arts skills are lacking. He mentions that to be as good as his master, one needs a father as good as his own master. He Lien hears someone exclaim in shock, apologizing for saying something wrong. The child asks the mother, "Where's your father?" The child asks if their father is as good as the white-haired uncle. The adult assures that the father is indeed a dangerous guy, even more dangerous than the white-haired one. A girl expresses a feeling, saying it is dangerous enough to go to heaven. The older girl mentions someone is a dangerous guy and compares him to a white-haired guy, saying the first is even more dangerous. He asks if someone is going to heaven and if they can fly. Another explains that at the beginning of the year, Xiao Qiao saw fireworks. They describe how fireworks ascend with just a blink of an eye, transforming into blooming flowers in the sky. She tells him they don't need to give up hope either. Maybe someday he'll come back, right? He responds with, He mentions not keeping the guest overnight, but since guests were invited, he saw her out the door. He mentions they will meet again at Cheongdo in the future. She recalls he was a noble Dishur, while she was just a doctor without reputation. She observes the distance between them growing. He sees this as the last chance for them to get straight to each other. She asks if he really has nothing else to say to her. A young woman inquires about the poison affecting the man's body. She questions what form his body has taken due to the poison. He questions how much she knows about his body. She tells him that his body has two kinds of poison coexisting, which can be deadly. One type makes him afraid of the cold, and the other causes unbearable suffering. She mentions that his condition also makes him unable to get an erection, to make love, or to have children. He inquires if assistance is desired for treating an illness. He expresses gratitude for Dr. Ye's kindness but states it is not necessary. She questions, "Do not necessary? Wait, do not necessary, huh?" He wants to help her heal, but she says it isn't necessary. She questions if he's not afraid of death. It's late at night. Dr. Yi has told someone not to bother seeing him off and to go home. He hands the object to the girl, insisting she put it on. She expresses admiration and asks her to accept it. He instructs her to keep it carefully and to find him when she feels like she's about to die. She questions why she should find him. He accuses the other of picking up a corpse. He observes her running away, clutching her hair. He notes that until now, others have always sought his help for treating poisoning. He expresses surprise, as this is the first time he's met someone like her. Meanwhile, she runs off thinking. He questions the master, asking how she can speak that way and wonders if it's a curse related to picking up the body. One character advises that he should endure her behavior. The other character responds with uncertainty, acknowledging the possibility. He reflects on how many people have wished for his death but considers her as someone who sincerely wants him to keep living. He acknowledges that regardless of her intentions, he should be grateful for her kind thoughts. The character with long hair mentions that they must return to Zhong's-do the next morning and advises to rest soon. The other character responds with agreement, saying, "Yes." The character wonders when the master will start to notice himself a little, acknowledging his significance beyond the presence of over 10,000 people. Someone informs Cheong-do that something has happened. He conveyed that His Majesty ordered an immediate return to Cheong-do. Dr. Yi expresses gratitude. Master Chen hands her 3 Shi-Cui-Dan pills, fulfilling a promise. He mentions to Master Chen the need to prepare for a trip to Cheong-do to question Changsheng. Master Chen encourages him to ask. She wants to accept him as her last disciple. She offers to teach him medicine and asks if he will follow her as a teacher. One character asks if it's true. Another character scolds, questioning why he's standing blankly and not getting on his knees to worship his master. She expresses her initial interest in him because of his conscientious nature and honesty. Furthermore, she acknowledges his courage in facing danger and questions why she wouldn't make him a disciple after he passed her test. The girl tells the boy there's no need to kneel like that and suggests a little symbolic action instead. She comments on the disciple boy, saying he's really too honest. An older person praises Changsheng for studying hard and mentions his time with Dr. Yi. Another person assures that the wages will increase in the future as they hand over the payment. A man comments on Master Qian's kind heart. He assures a woman that Master Qian's son will be obedient, peaceful, and filial in the future. A girl observes them with curiosity. She inquires if it could be cured. He confirms, offering the full treatment methods. She talks about a drink for the man's wife, suggesting a position during an intimate moment. He responds with enthusiasm and eagerness. The older man remarks that Lady Yi understands too much. Lady Yi asks to be excused. She informs the lady that everything requested is prepared. The carriage is ready and waiting at the door. One character tells the other to get on the carriage first and mentions sending a letter to Grandpa. The other confirms that the young master and Changsheng will come as well. The first character responds affirmatively. Master Qian thanks Lady Yi for taking care of him. She expresses that if she has a chance to cooperate to make money in the future, she will think of him first. Master Qian wishes her a safe journey. He thinks that the 3 days are over and the village chief probably has enough money already. The Yi family's idiot is back. She wants to find the village chief for revenge. The boy questions the presence of many people in the village head's house. Another character expresses a desire to destroy them easily due to their number. He instructs Changsheng to hug Xiaobao and hide inside, urging them to hold tight. She asks if enough money has been prepared. A person accuses someone of daring to ask for money after harming their father. He declares that today he will repay blood with blood. Someone commands to catch her. She points out that many Zhang family members are gathered because he cannot pay the debt. She questions if they want to take his life to pay on his behalf. He declares that if it is so, he will provide satisfaction. She questions if someone wants to run. She demands someone to hurry and call the village head for her. A voice urgently commands, "Stop, stop it." He states that everything wanted is in the document he is holding. A girl comments on not seeing someone for a few days and them already being in a wheelchair. He expresses that there's no need for Yi lady to be mindful. He says there's no need for her to be mindful. He asks the village chief if something was forgotten. He asks her where the letters exchanged with Yi Shangyuan are. He mentions burning all the letters over the years. Every time he finished watching, he burned them. Another remarks on burning all and says he didn't originally expect cooperation. A man remarks on Yi lady's kindness. He mentions that he may no longer need the letters, but plans to use them for something else. She remarks that his room is also nice. She tells him to just destroy it. He warns Ling Ji not to overdo it, threatening that his father became like that because of her. He demands to know what else she intends to do. She questions how she can harm him. A boy accuses another, blaming him for carrying a decapitated body that led to his father being threatened. He mentions that it turns out to be because of something, but questions what reason they have to trust his actions. The character wonders aloud how another knew the two bodies were connected to them. One character demands another to be quiet, telling them to shut their mouth. He reveals that he arranged for 2 assassins to be sent by Yi Shangyuan. He believes that if Ling Ji discovered them, she wouldn't be lenient. The woman says, "The village head, you really do not come from any tricks. Dealing with a woman like me, you also do not hesitate to ask for help from far away." A character apologizes, acknowledging past wrongs over the years, while bowing. He claims he did not cause much harm. An old man pleads, asking for generosity and to be spared. She questions him about sending a letter to her sister to hire an assassin and asks if he ever considered sparing her life. For 5 years, the attention of the village chief has been received. Today, there's a need to return to Cheongdo. A big gift will be given. She tells unrelated people to leave quickly, saying she will consider they never arrive today. She warns them about the dangers of staying in the same house as the village chief, advising not to blame her for not mentioning it earlier. She exclaims, "Consequences you guys bear." He asks what she wants to do. He exclaims, calling out, "Dynamite!" Alarmed, another shouts, "Dynamite! It's dynamite!" Ling Ji wants everyone here blasted to death. Urgently, someone urges, "Let's run." One character warns others, expressing that they choose trouble for themselves and advises them not to get involved. He demands to know what the other person wants in the end. He mentions that next it's his family. Another questions if he really wants to kill them all. He accuses others of bullying their mother and son for many years. If he does nothing, the implication is left unspoken. She questions how she can dispel her resentment. She says she will count to 10 and prepare to escape. A man asks if she wants revenge for the destruction of her house. One character says, 10. Another urges, "We hurry to give her all of the letters. Probably won't get burned." "Dad, where are those letters?" He expresses concern about their financial situation, asking how they will live if their house is burned down by Ling Ji. Another person counts, saying 8. A girl pleads with an older man, asking him to quickly beg Ling Ji for their family's forgiveness. The older man, now on the floor, refers to the request as useless and claims that her goal is revenge on all of them. A girl rides away on a horse-drawn carriage and someone shouts for her to quickly run and save herself, stating that all debts between them are settled. She mentions that she finally spares his life and wonders what Yi Shangyuan will think. He thinks it's all wrong and believes it shouldn't be like this. The boy regrets pushing Xiao Bao into the ice cave, believing it could have prevented something bad. The old man tells him that it's wrong and everything is wrong. He urges everyone to sit tight and suggests they return to Cheongdo.